Hi, I am going to be discussing intersectionality, what it is, and why it's important. Intersectionality is the belief that gender cannot be understood without looking at things like race, social class, and sexual orientation. There's a lot more, really, because intersectionality has a lot to do with inclusion. It's such a new concept that Microsoft Word doesn't even recognize it as a real word. It's definitely not a new concept for the people that have experienced it, but it's something that we've just started talking about as society. Started off legally, but I'm going to focus on the sociological ramifications. When looking at intersectionality, you need to think about the way two defining characteristics are combined to create a totally new subset. You may want to think of it as a Venn diagram, where each circle is a social group and sometimes it bleeds over a little. So we have black group, we have the female group, and then we have black female. But you should really be looking at it with each group having its own circle. We have the black community, the female community, and the black and female community. That's not to say that black women don't experience racism specifically for being black, or that they don't experience sexism specifically for being women. They definitely do. But they also experience a totally different type of discrimination by being black women. A good way to understand this would be specific stereotypes. We all heard the stereotype of the sassy black woman. Now, a woman isn't going to experience the perceptions from that, and a black man won't either. However, all black women have had to deal with this stereotype and the problems it causes. This doesn't necessarily pertain to race. A common one is sexual orientation. While you may want to group all homosexuals together, there's a ton of subsets that make this not ideal. A masculine lesbian is going to experience a lot more homophobia and discrimination than a lesbian with long hair and makeup who may be able to blend in with society. You might want to think of this as Ellen DeGeneres versus her wife, Portia de Rossi. And an effeminate gay man is going to face a lot more homophobia and discrimination than a more traditionally masculine one. You could think of this like Ricky Martin versus Rob Halford of Judas Priest. Another thing to consider with intersectionality is social class. It's important to consider the way that these struggles are specific. Set aside race and think of the struggles of a lower class individual versus those somebody well-to-do. It's a completely different life, despite sharing the same gender, the same race, the same sexual orientation. When factoring in gender, you have to consider groups like women, poor white women, poor black women. I could go on forever. These groups all experience challenges directly related to their communities. The reason why intersectionality is so important is not only to understand the struggles of this, but also for representation in the workforce, in the government, in the media. A famous story is Whoopi Goldberg seeing Nichelle Nichols on TV for the first time on Star Trek. It was the first time she had ever seen a black woman on television not playing a maid, and it inspired her to go on and pursue comedy. You could have looked at it like, hey, we have black women on TV, but we didn't have successful, strong black women. We didn't have role models to that community. So by including these kind of people in these kind of groups in to the media and to our government and the things that we see every day, it gives people also in that group something to look up to. These things are all really interconnected, and it's kind of hard to set aside. Intersectionality isn't about setting aside, it's about combining. So to recap, intersectionality is important because we can't just ignore whole communities and the issues that these groups face specifically. This allows us to look at specific groups and understand their challenges, such as the black female community, the gay male community, the white poor community. There's so many. Hopefully I've given you a better understanding of this concept and helped teach something. Thank you.